Everyone, Tony George from Doc Sports, NBA playoffs, New York Knicks at Boston Celtics. Game one, round two of the series. We're going to talk about this one for you here. Glad to be back with you after a 4-day mini vacation down to Lake of the Ozarks for a little golf junket with a bunch of buddies. Had a good time, recharged the batteries, kind of got to take a step back. Need to do that every now and then. I've had basically one full vacation in 8 years, so it was nice to just get away and ready to rock and roll, ready to get it done for you here on Monday. We have a 7-unit prop play today. We'll tell you about that in a minute, how you can get it for free. Let's talk about this Celtics and New York series. And, you know, if you take a look at New York, they were lucky to get out of that Piston series, in my opinion. When they were up 3-1 in that series, it could have easily been, they could have been down 1-3. The problem with Detroit was they were like a deer in the headlights in that series. Youth and inexperience. In clutch moments, they just couldn't close the deal, where New York had more experience in those situations and knew how to get out of a tight spot and put something to bed, being closers in that series, where Detroit just didn't have that experience. I mean, the year before, you know, Detroit was the biggest doormat in the NBA. So, you know, they got a lot to look forward to in Detroit. Matter of fact, Detroit would probably be a tougher matchup for Boston in this series than what New York is. Now, youth and inexperience is not a problem for Boston, and neither is depth, and neither is size, all of which they have huge advantages over New York. You know, you take a look at some of the games this year. I mean, Boston has wins by 23, 27, and 13 over New York when it mattered. Now, New York got a win late in the regular season. Boston had already thrown it in. They'd sat out some players. That doesn't count. But New York has had a problem coming up against elite teams all year. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at the top 6 power ranked in the NBA, including records, they played those top 6 NBA teams a total of 16 times during the season. They were 2-14 ATS. And Boston is a team that gets complacent because they're so good, which has been a problem for them last year and even this year. That's my only knock against Boston is they take games off. They take a quarter off. You know, they took the first half off against Orlando, and then you saw in the last game, then you saw what they did when they pulled their head out of their rear end at halftime. When they flip the switch and want to bring their A game, they can play with anybody, including Cleveland, especially with the depth that they have. And I think it's too much for New York. New York looked like a very tired team. Brunson did not look 100%. They don't rotate well because they don't have enough depth to match what Boston can bring to the table. And in game ones, a lot of the time, the much better team wants to set the tone, you know, for the series by coming out with a convincing win and bringing their A game. With a little added rest, I think Tatum will have a big night tonight. I'm going to lay the 8.5 with the Boston Celtics for your free play. The total's 212.5. That's about right. I would lean that to the over, but, you know, I just don't know. It depends on what New York does offensively. But I think Boston gets over on them tonight. Over at the website, we have a 7-unit team prop in the late game. Get on it. Get on it. We've hit 4 out of our last 5 props. We missed a top play in the props 5 plays ago. We went 4-1 since then. We lost one last night Jared Allen didn't get over in that Cleveland game. Matter of fact, Cleveland got waxed. Wow. We had him over points and rebounds, and he got shown up last night. So other than that, we'd won 4 in a row. So we're ready to get a big win tonight in the prop market. Doc Sports, free $60. Link in the description below, or a tab on the website. The description below the video, you can expand it. There's a link there, or just go to the website. It says free 60 in the upper left-hand corner. We'll park $60 in any new account. Get the card for free. It's $25. It's a drive-through at Arby's. Got a 4-unit NBA best bet, 3-1 our last 4. We have a 4-unit Major League Baseball play today. Now, we took Saturday and Sunday off in bases, a little bit of a mini slump in bases. We readjusted some things. We didn't put any picks up by design because we wanted to step back and see where we're going right and where we're going wrong. And that's exactly what we did. So, we're ready to go. NHL, we're going to pass. I don't like... This is a tight game, Toronto, Florida tonight. Now, we cashed 4 out of our last 6 in the NHL. 1 yesterday. What a game between Winnipeg and St. Louis. St. Louis dominated that game for all but about 2 minutes of it and ended up, getting scored on with less than 2 seconds left and then losing overtime. But we had the over. So that was a good thing. I don't like this game tonight. I think it could go... Now, this is my opinion. Somebody could have a freaking 7-unit play over at the website on it. That's why we're all independent. And I don't know what anybody else does over at Docs. But to me, it's a coin flip. Total's tight. 5.5. It's a tough game to call for me. And it's the opening game of the series, which sometimes, especially in the NHL, where everybody's basically even at this point. I mean, you look at the NHL playoffs, anybody laying over minus 150 shouldn't be laying over minus 150 unless the other team's got 7 or 8, a bunch of injuries, which I'm just telling you, it's that tight in the NHL. We'll live to fight another day off a win yesterday. Doc Sports, place to be. Thumbs up, subscribe. Good luck on Monday.